Top 4, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare coins, and more specifically, a coin that may be sitting in your collection right now, without you even knowing its worth. Today we're talking about the 1967 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny. While this coin may seem ordinary at first, we'll show you why it might be worth far more than its face value. Stay tuned until the end, because you might be sitting on a small fortune. Let's take a step back and look at the world in 1967. The United States was experiencing a time of immense change. The country was in the middle of the 1960s, a decade that would see massive cultural shifts, political movements and social changes. The civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, and the rise of counterculture were all shaping the landscape of American society. Amid all this, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of pennies, including the 1967 1-cent coin. At first glance, the design of the 1967 penny doesn't seem much different from any other penny you've come across. On the obverse, we have the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln, a portrait designed by Victor David Brenner. Since 1909, Lincoln's face has graced the penny, and this design continues to be one of the most iconic in U.S. numismatics. The reverse side of the 1967 penny features the classic wheat stalks design, which had been in use since 199 as well. However, this particular reverse design would soon be replaced in 1959 with the Lincoln Memorial, marking the final years of the wheat penny, er. So what makes the 1967 penny stand out, and why should collectors take note of it? The answer lies in its rarity in condition. While most 1967 pennies were minted in large quantities and circulated widely, certain versions of the coin are much rarer and far more valuable. The key to this coin's value comes from the condition it's in. The better preserved the coin, the more it's worth. Like many coins from this era, the 1967 penny was used heavily in daily transactions, and as a result most of them show signs of wear and tear. However, finding a 1967 penny in mint or near mint condition is where the real value lies. Now let's dive into the specifics of the 1967 penny that collectors are really after. It's the uncirculated or near perfect versions of this coin that can fetch big money. When a penny is in excellent condition with sharp details, no scratches or discoloration, it becomes a highly coveted piece for coin collectors. In the case of the 1967 penny, the rarity of finding one in pristine condition adds to its overall value. Coins that were well cared for and never saw the inside of a cash register or a pocket are the ones that are worth significantly more than others from the same year. But there's more. Aside from the condition, certain variants of the 1967 penny have become even more valuable due to minting errors. While the 1967 penny doesn't have as many well-known errors as some other years, there have been a few rare occurrences that make the coin even more desirable to collectors. Whether it's a minor strike or a small design flaw, these minting errors can dramatically increase the value of the coin, sometimes making it worth much more than even a well-preserved, regular 1967 penny. Now let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the value. You may be thinking, how much could a simple penny from 1967 really be worth? Well, if you happen to have a 1967 penny in excellent uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a surprising value. Are you ready for this? A 1967 penny in top-tier condition or with an error can be worth a staggering $64,000. Yes, that's right. $64,000 for a single 1967 penny. It's hard to believe that a coin as simple as a penny could hold so much value. But this is the reality in the world of rare coin collecting. To put that into perspective, think about how many pennies you probably tossed aside without a second thought over the years. Most of us see pennies as insignificant, but this rare 1967 coin is a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary piece of currency can turn into a priceless treasure when it's in exceptional condition. S0. If you've got a jar full of loose change, it might be worth your time to go through it carefully. While most pennies aren't worth much more than 1 cent, there's always the possibility that a 1967 penny in mint condition is hiding in your collection, and if you've got one with a minting error, you could be sitting on a small fortune. To sum things up, the 1967 1-cent coin is a prime example of how the value of a coin can be influenced by its rarity, condition, and even the smallest minting errors. A well-preserved penny from this year is a rare find, and one that can be worth much more than you'd expect. So next time you come across a 1967 penny, take a close look at its condition. It could be worth more than just a few cents. It could be worth $64,000. Top 5. We're diving into the fascinating world of the 1968 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the penny. At first glance, this coin may seem like just another penny you've come across thousands of times, but there's a hidden value in the 1968 penny that might just surprise you. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll be looking at your spare change in a whole new light. The year 1968 was a pivotal one in American history. The country was going through some major social, political, and cultural changes. From the civil rights movement to the ongoing conflict in Vietnam, America was in the midst of profound transformation. The 1968 penny was minted at a time of great unrest. But it's not just a piece of history, it's also a hidden gem for coin collectors. Now, when most of us think of pennies, we probably don't think about big bucks. After all, pennies are one of the most common coins in circulation, and they often just get tossed into a jar or forgotten about. But in the world of numismatics, even the humblest coins can carry surprising value. The 1968 penny is one such example. It was produced in large quantities, but certain versions of this coin, especially those in exceptional condition, are worth much more than you might expect. Let's start by looking at the design. The 1968 penny, like most pennies minted since 199, features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. This design, created by Victor David Brenner, is instantly recognizable and has become synonymous with the penny itself. On the reverse side, the 1968 penny features the familiar image of two wheat stalks. This design had been used since 1909, but would be replaced the following year with the Lincoln Memorial. What makes the 1968 penny worth something more than its face value? The answer lies in its rarity and condition. Many people don't realize that coins from this era, especially those from the late 1960s, can be quite valuable when found in pristine condition. Most pennies from 1968 were heavily circulated, so finding one in excellent condition is a rarity. If you have a 1968 penny that's been well cared for, kept in a coin holder, or stored in a collection, you may have a valuable piece in your hands. But it's not just about finding a well-preserved coin. It's also about finding one with the right characteristics. You see, certain versions of the 1968 penny have unique features that make them more desirable to collectors. One of the most important factors that can increase the value of the coin is the quality of the strike. A well-struck penny with crisp, clear details and no signs of wear is worth much more than a coin that's been worn down 3 years of circulation. In addition to the strike quality, the composition of the 1968 penny plays a role in its value. During the late 1960s, the U.S. Mint was in the process of transitioning from the use of copper to a more cost-effective composition that included zinc. This change in the metal content of the penny created some slight variations, and the coins produced during this period, while most 1968 pennies were made with the typical copper and zinc alloy, there were a few rare examples that were produced with slightly different metal mixes. These variations can make certain 1968 pennies even more valuable. But here's where things get really exciting. If you've been lucky enough to come across a 1968 penny that's a near-perfect uncirculated condition, or even better, one with a rare minting error, you could be looking at a coin worth much more than you'd expect. In fact, a well-preserved 1968 penny in top condition could fetch an incredible sum. Are you ready for the big reveal? This penny could be worth a jaw-dropping $60,000. That's right, $60,000 for a single 1968 penny. It's hard to imagine that something as small and seemingly insignificant as a penny could hold so much value, but in the world of coin collecting, these rare finds are highly sought after. To put that into perspective, imagine how many pennies you probably come across over the years, ones you may have tossed into a jar or forgotten about. Most pennies don't have any special value, but finding one that's been preserved in mint condition, or one with a rare characteristic, is like finding a needle in a haystack. If you have a 1968 penny that's been carefully preserved, stored in a collection, or even one that has a minting error, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. It's also important to note that the market for rare coins, including those from the late 1960s, can fluctuate based on demand, rarity, and collector interest. So if you have a 1968 penny, it's definitely worth getting it professionally graded. To determine its value, a coin in top condition, certified by a reputable grading service, will fetch a higher price on the market than one that's left ungraded. The 1968 penny is a great example of how a coin that seems so ordinary can actually be extraordinary. when it's in the right condition or has the right attributes. It's a reminder that when it comes to coin collecting, you can't always judge a coin by its face value. There are hidden treasures in your collection, and sometimes, the most overlooked coins can turn out to be worth a small fortune. S0. If you've got a collection of pennies sitting around, it might be time to go through them carefully. A 1968 penny could be the golden ticket you've been looking for. Whether it's the quality of the strike, its condition, or a rare minting variation, there's a lot of potential value in this seemingly simple coin. Thank you for tuning in today. If you enjoy learning about the potential value of the 1968 penny, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future coin discoveries. Keep on hunting, and remember, sometimes the most valuable treasures are hiding right under your nose. Happy collecting!